This morning, a Democratic victory in Iowa is giving that party a glimpse of hope, maybe a rare glimpse of hope, as the country moves toward the midterms. Democrat Catelin Drey won the Iowa Senate 1 special election, breaking the Republican supermajority in Iowa. Drey won the seat by 10 points, and it's notable because Donald Trump won the same district by 11 points in November.
What happens when Trump's aura of invincibility collides with reality? For years, he has redrawn the rules and convinced his base that nothing could touch him. But now that illusion is shattered. Republicans just lost a vital seat they thought was untouchable. And suddenly, the Trump machine doesn't look so unstoppable. So what does this mean? Let's find out. The GOP was blindsided when Democrat Catelin Drey pulled off an upset in Iowa, breaking the Republican supermajority. For Trump, who thrives on projecting invincibility, this loss is more than symbolic. It's a public crack in his armor. Suddenly, the red wall doesn't look so unshakable. After her stunning victory, Democrat Catelin Drey sat down with CNN to explain how she flipped a district Trump had carried by 11 points.
Thank you for having me. Well, we spent a lot of time talking to voters. We ran a really aggressive ground game. We knocked on over 17,000 doors. We made almost 30,000 phone calls, and we took a message that resonates with Senate District 1, that everyone in this district should have an opportunity to have a good life that they can afford. And that's everything from housing to healthcare to childcare. And those issues resonate with voters.
I want to come back to affordability in just a second there. But what is it you think, Democrats had a rough go of it in 2024, and there's been some gloom and doom there. What is it that you think that Democrats had been doing wrong?
Well, I can't speak for all Democrats, but I can speak for myself. And truly, I think that reaching people where they are is what will make the difference. I wanted to prioritize online communication. Folks get their information in different ways now. And so again, reaching people where they are via social media. We prioritize Spanish language communication. We had, get out the vote messaging in Spanish. The full website was available in Spanish. That was really important to me. I studied Spanish in college and have lost some of those language skills, but I'm dangerous enough on the doors to have a conversation and say, how can I help you in English and in Spanish? And truly, I think we have to get back to policies and messaging that resonate with the working class.
While she seems hopeful, the Republicans are disappointed. Analysts quickly stepped in to explain what this upset really means.
Particularly in Iowa, where there's currently a Republican governor, but that Republican governor is not running for re-election, and you might actually get a Democratic governor this next time around. Like, for instance, when the Republicans have a supermajority, it means that if they pass something really, really terrible and then a Democratic governor vetoes it, they could just come in and be like, never mind, your veto doesn't matter. It also matters a lot on things like forcing a vote instead of being able to filibuster something, or in the case of Iowa, a Republican governor being able to appoint whoever they want without Democrats having anything to say about it. So, breaking the supermajority makes Democrats, who are very much the minority party in Iowa, all of a sudden quite relevant again in the legislature. It's a huge deal, particularly when you look at the actual dynamics of this race. You have I don't know how to say it. I think it's Catelin Drey. She's the founder of a left-leaning policy group called Moms for Iowa, which supports abortion rights and gun restrictions. And on the campaign trail, she emphasized her background as a mother and called for making childcare more affordable.
Midterms are often cruel to incumbents, but this is different. It's happening under Trump's heavy grip on the GOP. CNN's data experts broke down how districts, once thought safe, are shifting, with unaffiliated voters and suburban moderates refusing to fall in line.
For them. That is the phrase of the day, uh-oh, Democrats lead the generic congressional ballot, and you can see their lead is expanding. It's becoming bigger. Look at this in spring, CNBC, it was 2. Now it's 5. How about Ipsos? It was 1 for the Democrats. Now it's 4. How about the Wall Street Journal? It was 1, and now it is 3. So now the average lead here is 4, which is up from just about a point. That's about a 3-point move on average in the Democrats' direction. And of course, Kate Paul, when this is coming amidst the fights over redistricting, I think there are going to be a lot of people wondering, wait a minute, are Republicans wanting to change the lines because they are losing, which they absolutely are on the generic congressional ballot. At this point, Democrats are winning, Republicans are losing, and maybe they're trying to change the lines in order to give themselves a little bit more wiggle room, given what we're seeing, a clear Democratic momentum on the generic congressional ballot.
How does it break down when you look at party ID?
Okay, so this is one metric, right? The generic congressional ballot. How about party identification, right? Because the idea is if you're a Democrat, you're very likely to vote Democrat. If you're a Republican, you're very likely to vote Republican. Take a look here, the party ID margin, Democrats versus Republicans. Look in Q1 of this year. Quinnipiac, Republicans had a lead of a point. Gallup, it was tight. Look at where we are now in the latest measures. Again, Democratic momentum. This is a 5-point move to the Democrats, according to Quinnipiac. Now they're up by 4 on party ID. How about Gallup? What we see is Democrats ahead by 3 points. So again, what you're seeing is clear movement towards the Democratic Party on a very key metric, because if you're identifying as Democratic, you're far more likely to vote for the Democrat. If you're identifying as Republican, you're far more likely to vote Republican. And I will note, Kate, that this is a change from last year, especially among Gallup, when Republicans held a rare lead going into the 2024 election. And that, of course, foreshadowed Donald Trump winning, foreshadowed Republicans taking the House, taking the Senate. And now, of course, Democrats are ahead here. This is a big uh-oh for Republicans as we are at the midpoint of 2025.
This wasn't just a fluke. It's the first clear sign that voters are pushing back against Trumpism. Instead of acknowledging the shift, Trump doubled down, telling Republicans they are entitled to more seats and demanding states redraw maps to guarantee his control.
Absolutely. So, first of all, redistricting really traditionally only happens at the beginning of a decade. In 2021, Texas Republicans drew the current map, and they drew it with the idea in mind that the incumbents wanted to be safe. There had been the 2018 cycle and the 2020 cycle where Democrats were really threatening many Republican delegation members. They ended up only picking up 2 seats, but a lot of Republicans in the suburbs, including in DFW, had to run much harder than they'd ever run before. And so to save money, to save effort, and to save seats, they bolstered their own districts. And so Donald Trump has come in mid-decade and said, nope, that's not good enough. And he wants a very aggressive map to help Republicans save the House. And it appears Texans are on track to do that. And what I found super interesting about that is traditionally the Texas Republican delegation has been such a lockstep group of people that no one ever bullied them around. And they seem very unhappy with this prospect. But they're going along with it anyway, at least publicly, with a smile on their face. And the reason they're reluctant is that in order to draw 5 competitive seats or endanger 5 Democrats, you've got to pull Republicans from other districts. And, it's really scaring some folks.
Democrats, caught on tape, fired back, accusing him of trying to rig the midterms before they even began.
We should never have to do this. But to consider what Texas is doing and their power grab directed by Trump, we have to fight back. And so we're going to go forward.
You know, I think a lot of constituents in California and other blue states who have adopted independent commissions, who have done the good government thing, look at what Republicans are doing elsewhere and ask, are we suckers to do this? How can we play by one set of rules and other states play by a different set of rules?
Even Republican veterans are sounding the alarm. Karl Rove, no friend of Democrats, admitted the numbers don't lie. Unaffiliated voters are growing faster than Republican registrations. In simple terms, the GOP can redraw all the maps at once, but it can't gerrymander away demographic reality. The analyst lays it out. Trump may have the loudest voice, but the electorate is slipping from his hands. For party strategists, it's a nightmare. Stuck with Trump's dominance inside the party, but losing appeal outside of it. Iowa was the symptom. Rove's warning was the diagnosis. Revisiting the Iowa race, the lesson becomes clearer. A district Trump carried easily just a few years ago is now gone, flipped by energized Democrats and disillusioned moderates.
Yeah, I organized a little bit for Obama when he first ran for president in this area, and it's definitely the kind of area that we were more competitive at various points. We've, definitely had some tough years, and this gives us at least some hope that we can turn back the tide. And most importantly, it shows the way forward towards the midterm elections, which is, one could argue about whether a more educated electorate, what happens in special elections, is a false positive for Democrats when it comes to the presidential. Sure, but the same dynamics that are played, special elections often are at play in midterms, where you have more motivated voters and higher information voters turning out. So at least as we fix our gaze on the horizon, the most important test to come in the next 2 years, this is midterm, and this is a good sign for us.
So, one special election in Iowa may seem small, but its shockwaves are already shaking Washington. Trump just took the worst hit of his term, his party lost a seat they were supposed to win easily, and now the cracks in his so-called red wall are spreading. The only question left was whether this was just a stumble for Trump or the beginning of a collapse he can't stop. Let us know in the comments section. Is Trump losing his grip on America, or will he find a way to claw it back?